is it Corrine Hendrickson of New Glarus? And she is speaking against all the bills. Afternoon.
Afternoon, and thank you. You must have heard my name enough. You know how to say it now. All right, so thank you for having us. Thank you for having this hearing. I am speaking on behalf of myself and my family childcare business, Corrine's Little Explorers. I opened about 16 years ago because I had 3 pregnant friends who did not and could not find care. So I started my business. I quit my retail job, making more than I make now, to go ahead and use my degree. So I have a bachelor's in elementary education. I've run my own program. I started actually as unregulated, but legally operating. I got certified because I had a family who needed shares, so I got certified. And then once one of my moms was pregnant, I then got licensed. So I do firmly believe in that stepping stone. I do firmly believe in all of those things, because if somebody tries to open a program with 8 children right away, they're going to run away. They are not going to last. They're going to be the one that Representative Billings talks about, and they're going to close the very next day, because this is not for the faint of heart, especially with the wages. So I just wanted to give you a little background. I also just finished my master's through UW, a capstone certificate for infant and early childhood mental health. So I'm also speaking about it as an expert of children and brain development and relationships. So I'm opposing all of the assembly bills that purport to solve the childcare crisis. Reading your reasoning behind all of these bills, it is clear you are fabricating a reason in order to justify your lack of responsiveness and listening to your constituents who overwhelmingly told you to vote yes for childcare accounts. You see, I have integrity, and before I make a claim, I do research. So I looked up the surrounding states you claim have higher ratios and fewer regulations. Simply put, it's false. Iowa, 16-year-olds can only be with school-agers. You say they can be left alone with infants. You say the ratios are higher. Nope, also untrue. Iowa has a few that are slightly different, but nothing at the level you're proposing. 0 states around us have an arbitrary age of 7 before children don't count in child care numbers to get regulated as family child care. In fact, most only allow 1 family or 2 children max before you're required to be licensed or state certified. Their versions. That's our connecting states around us. Again, Iowa is the outlier, but even there are 5 children with the ages up to 12, not 7. Before needing to be regulated. Large family childcare does exist in neighboring states, and I agree we should be looking at how to create that licensing designation. 8 children and under 2 and 4 more is absolutely not the answer. The certification reasoning is also untrue, because children under 7 related to the provider were allowed in that max of 6 children. So this isn't just their own children, but grandchildren, nieces, nephews, siblings, etc. And so because of these reasons, these bills should be thrown out and not even given the dignity of a response, because these bills will cause harm. These ratios and rules and regulations exist, so children are not harmed and are safe. Parents, contrary to what some of you may think, and have stated in, not from this group, but in general across the state, absolutely do care about the environment their children are spending their time away from home with. So I vehemently oppose these garbage bills and ask you to vote no. When you are serious about solving the problem, I welcome a conversation with you, as do your constituents. No one who hasn't spent an entire day working in both a group and family childcare has any business loosening rules. This will cause harm. This will cause more teachers to absolutely walk away. This will cost our state more money. This will increase incarceration rates, as you have brought up, Representative Madison. All of these things I can say with confidence because I am educated on early care and education. Vote no to this and vote yes to child care counts. We keep coming up to the wages. People even who are supporting these bills come back to the fact that it is the wages. It isn't the rules. It's the wages. We can't pay enough because we can't charge enough. To Representative Madison's point, younger people are not accepting the fact that things are on their back anymore. We as a field for far too long have accepted that we're subsidizing the parents' inability to pay us what we're worth. We're done. If we want to look at other solutions, Vermont has a great one. They used a payroll tax. So every single business is putting money in at the same rate across the board. And then the employees are also paying a very slight tax. That makes it equitable. It makes it so even our small businesses like my own can survive, like restaurants. Because right now, to your point, Chairman Snyder, people have asked businesses and they say, I cannot justify giving this one employee of mine a $400 a week bonus, basically, for my other employees who don't have children. So if we're going to do this, we need to look at systemic changes. We need to look at how other countries do it. We need to look at all the research that we did that those other countries are relying on to make their decisions and use that information and do something and do the right thing. And yes, you're right. We do need help tomorrow. If child care accounts goes through tomorrow, that money gets backfilled and next month's check goes back to our amounts from May. We also, child care accounts did the following. It increased the number of programs getting started for the first time in decades. It increased the number of programs that accept subsidy by 900 programs over the last few years. That is 25%. The program that drastically slowed the closure of family childcare, the one that we, the professionals, helped to create to meet the needs of the businesses we own and operate as the experts. I thank you for your time, and I welcome questions.
Representative Gogan.
I want to start by thanking you for coming and sharing very passionately what you feel. I do have a question, just sort of a clarification for the large family childcare. Did you say 8 children under 2 plus 4 more?
That is what
That is not what I'm proposing.
but that is exactly what the Legislative Council said is in the bill.
No, that isn't what they said was in the bill.
Can you clarify?
The large family childcare is the same ratios. Your family childcare?
Yes.
Okay, so you can have up to 8 depending on the number of 2-year-olds, right? So if you have under 2, you can only have 4.
We're talking about the legislation that is proposed.
Correct.
Yes. If
And
I
so-
had another adult, I could have 8 children under 2, though. Because that's how family childcare works. If I have an employee, my ratios, I can have up to 8 children under the age of 2 now.
This says you can have up to 12 if you have an employee, but you're still, that first 8 is only if you have the 4 under 4. The first 8 are under the same requirements as you as a single provider.
I understand that,
Does not,
but
that does not start with 8. Your total under 2 with 2 providers would be 8 under 2.
But that's not the way this legislation is written. So I ask that you respectfully look back at the way it's written and make sure that it is, if your intent is to make sure that there aren't more than that many children under the age of 2 and the ratios are, according to this ratios that we have, that you make sure that that bill says it. Personally, I have looked at a lot of different large family childcare program provisions across the country. Minnesota actually seems to be the closest to what the family childcare providers in our state are asking for, which is the ability to have one provider with 10 children, more of them being school agers, obviously, because again, the care is less. And then also with
So
2
you'd like
adults
to
and more.
So up to 10 with 2 adults.
No, up to 10 with 1 adult, but the ages of the
Increasing the
children
ratio?
is very different. You can have 6 under school age and 4 more that are school age.
Okay, so you're asking to increase the ratio for family childcare.
I'm asking for us to look at what Minnesota has and that we do something similar to that, where they have like 5 different family childcare designations.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you. Thank you for testifying and your passion. Next up, Brooke, is this Skidmore? Sorry.